What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we have some Lions news very quickly that we will go over. So, let's get it started. Already today we did post a DeAndre Swift video. If you have not checked it out, make sure you go watch that video. And also there's an undrafted free agent video coming out a little bit later. But right now we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions making a few cuts. So as we know, the Detroit Lions went out and undrafted free agency, brought in like 7 players or something like that. He said he bring in 7 to 10. And then obviously the draft, we had 9. I think it was still 9 picks we ended up having. So yeah, there were some players that were brought in. So we're going to have to make some cuts. There definitely will be more cuts down the road. But so far the Lions have cut 4 players. So let's go through those players and let's talk about it a little bit. The first player is Trey Carson, the running back. Now, Trey Carson actually came from Green Bay. I remember Trey Carson, we were struggling to run the ball a lot last season. Injuries were just crazy. I mean, really on both sides of the ball. We didn't really ever have a starting running back. And Trey Carson stepped in. He looked pretty good. And then he ended up going down and getting placed on IR with an injury. So I understand why they released him. I mean, I honestly kind of forgot he was on the team. Like, no disrespect, but like, we're so deep at running back right now. I kind of forgot Trey Carson was one of our running backs. So yes, we released Trey Carson to make room for guys like Jason Huntley and DeAndre Swift because we are very deep at that running back position right now. So that one makes sense. The next one is Matt Weil, the punter that was out of Michigan. This was a Michigan standout according to some people. And Matt Weil was a guy that I'm pretty sure we signed to a future contract last year. And I thought, that may be our punter because the Lions didn't go out and draft one. We saw Brandon Mann get drafted in like the 6th round. We were seeing a couple special teams players get drafted, but the Lions never did. And, I wasn't sure what they were doing. I was like, okay, maybe they're going to rock with him. But they ended up bringing in Aaron Sipos in undrafted free agency. This is a guy that played Australian football. He doesn't have the biggest leg, but he's pretty consistent. He is 28 years old, which is something that you have to keep in mind, 28 in November. So he's not the youngest player. I guess he'll compete with Jack Fox for that punter role. But yeah, that's how the Lions are probably going to go about it, unless, maybe if a marquee free agent comes available, maybe they'll go that route. But so far, that's what it looks like. Those two guys will compete for that spot. So yeah, I guess Matt Weil maybe isn't in the cards, but maybe at some point he'll be back. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, Casey Tucker, who was a guard. Again, that one makes tons of sense. We brought in 2 guards during the draft. We're already pretty deep at the guard position. Then in the draft, we brought in 2 guards back-to-back rounds. 3rd round, we traded up to get Jonah Jackson, and in the 4th round, we took Logan Stenberg. Definitely makes sense that you had to release a guard at some point. There will be more guards released, I imagine. And then finally, we released James Fisher, who was a long snapper. Now, you're probably thinking, why would you release a long snapper? Well, we brought in Steven Wirtel out of Iowa State in undrafted free agency as well as a long snapper to compete. They say he's very consistent. He's not, he's very consistent with his placement. He's not the most athletic, and his size isn't great. But this guy will compete with Don Muhlbach. Obviously, we still have Don Muhlbach, the legend himself. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if anybody's really going to take Don's spot, but maybe that's someone they can look back at the future and say, okay, we remember working out with you. We can bring you back in. But we'll see. I mean, maybe if he really does impress and he's really, really good, maybe he'll win that role. I don't know, though. I don't know. You ain't beating out Don Muhlbach. I feel like Don Muhlbach's so dang consistent. It's going to be really hard to beat that guy out just until he retires. So there you go. Those are the 4 cuts we have made so far. Yeah, that's kind of just a little update. Definitely more things will happen. And, yeah, I appreciate you guys for stopping in once again. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.